So my first AI-only game ever was about 5 years ago, and ever since then, I've always been asked to continue a Civilization Earth map until there's only one civ left. And I always thought that was like the stupidest idea ever. I didn't think it was possible, and I was like, I'm not gonna waste my time. I got a life. I got much better things to do. Well, luckily, I don't have a life anymore, and I don't have anything better to do. So that's what we're gonna get here today. I've got all 42 civilizations in this world, but we're using a total of 44 nations as a whole. Yep, there's gonna be one left, so place your bets now. It's gonna be a weird one. We're going all the way up to turn 4,500, which is 9 times the normal length of like a long standard game. This is kind of the reason why I haven't uploaded in a while. As far as I know, I think this is the first Civilization Battle Royale on an Earth map that will be finished to completion. So I'm hoping whoever wins this does some Fortnite dances all over the dead bodies. Here's all the participating nations, by the way, so choose any of these. They all have a chance of possibly taking over the entire globe, but it is much more likely to end up dying or becoming enslaved or something like that. This region of the map is always really entertaining. Problem is, at least in the very beginning, we're probably gonna see a lot of deaths here. It's just way too crowded. So I've noticed that Germany is one of the best AIs in all of Civ 6. I feel like they consistently do really well. They got great bonuses that you can't really mess up. So I think they're a good pick to win. Looks like England was able to slap down a second city, which means Scotland's gonna kind of have a tough time. They better go colonize Ireland or Iceland if they want to survive. Honestly, anyone in East Asia could win. Mongolia, China, or Korea specifically. They've got so much land to work with. It just depends on what Scythia does. She can go after Russia or decide to go after the East. Australia's in a similar situation. They've got an entire continent to themselves, but it is going to take them a while. They can't really get off this place for some time, at least until they discover deep sea sailing. And Coupe has discovered the new world. Looks like he's going to settle his capital in South America. He's going to have some neighbors. I don't know exactly if they're going to be that friendly. Oh, and another thing, climate change is going to be serious. Like, it's gonna get pretty crazy, and that should keep things kind of interesting in the late game. Let's see if some of these nations protect their coastlines. Now, if you watched me back in the day, I feel like you'd pick the Zulu to win it all. Shaka's terrifying, and he's got a lot of nice bonuses, but I don't know. We haven't seen him do well in a while. I feel like the Congo is a much better option. But you don't necessarily got to be like this warmongering nation, just taking out everyone with your military. I've noticed a lot of peaceful places doing really well, and I think it's partly to do with like the rebellions and cultural things that go on. The US is, unsurprisingly, doing little manifest destiny. They got 2 cities, but they do need to worry because those Syria people are getting a little bit closer. The amount of people have settled in both Colombia and now Venezuela, so I guess they're going all in. They ain't going anywhere else. We'll see how that works out for them. It's definitely not the first war, but it is pretty significant. There's probably been a lot of them by now. But England is attacking Scotland. We gotta see if they survive. Kind of a slow start for Japan over here, but I don't think it matters. They're probably guaranteed to get this whole island. And at the moment, they only know Korea, so I guess that's good. But Mongolia, on the other hand, they do not have that luxury. You guys gotta get something going. 2 cities in the middle of the map, that's a bad idea. Like, do something more than that. See, Germany's got 4, which is much better. They might not keep this, but that's kind of what they need to do, and they're especially lucky because Poland, I guess, is attacking Russia, or at least something's going on. Remember, there's gonna be 2 Indias. We've got Gandhi over here in the purple, and then like sexy, mythical Gandhi. I'm currently viewing as him right now. He's observing the coastline. That's actually not a bad idea. Problem is, he's gonna have to find a way to move through the Himalayas because the other India likes to do that, and if he doesn't figure out a way, he's not really gonna have many more cities. The Aztecs, of course, are always destined to do well. They have all of North America almost, and these Jaguar warriors in the very beginning keep them safe. Luckily, I don't think they're gonna be able to attack anyone with them because they don't really need any more advantages. And same goes for the Cree, so they got a lot of stuff they can go after. I guess it all depends on how that whole manifest destiny goes. And of course, it looks like America is gonna be having access to uranium. They can't see it yet, but that means some nukes. I don't think they're gonna mind using that, will they? Oh, whoa. Okay, this is a first. We have yet to see the Dutch do anything besides just get killed. They just took the French capital. Also, Vicky's settled Brittany. That's appropriate. Poland's also doing really well. 4 cities, and yeah, they're definitely giving Russia a hard time with Scythia's help. They almost took the city, but maybe it's only a matter of time. Sumeria seems to be the dominant power here in the Middle East, as no one else has 4 settlements. They almost killed Phoenicia. I mean, they're kind of still around. Barely. Egypt, okay guys, you started to worry me a bit. I don't know what's going on. Luckily you have all of North Africa to yourself, kind of, but Nubia is gonna be scary, and who knows what the Romans are gonna do. The other thing I didn't mention is with the Maori going to South America, Australia's got even more room to do kind of whatever they want. I mean, they have to worry about Indonesia. They do have their second city, but that's not a big deal. Oh, that could be bad. Yep, okay, that's definitely gonna be bad. Cincinnati and the Aztecs, they're not gonna get along too well, especially as Montezuma continues to kind of go crazy down here. And I didn't even realize that they just lost their capital. Great job, guys, great job. I mean, hey, you did settle Panama, though. I mean, kind of. You could build the Panama Canal. You're not gonna do it, are you? Well, either way, I guess South America might just be between like two nations, the Inca and Brazil. They're the only ones that seem to really want to do anything. Russia just lost their capital. I was gonna mention that they also have uranium, so we might see a little Cold War, but I don't think they're gonna survive for that long. All right, never mind. So Montezuma was able to make use of their unique Jaguar warriors. They took their first American city, and they might even take a little bit more. Scotland's trying their best to just kind of barely survive. They got a settler. It's gonna be tough to make it anywhere because, of course, England has a giant navy. Well, the French are kind of just failing. They're not doing well at all. They lost their capital, and they lost this one. They're also in a war with Spain because, yeah, you don't really want to go after Iberia. They get defensive over that. Indonesia now has their third city. Interesting that they're settling up north, though, putting some pressure on the Khmer, which, I mean, they're struggling because they only have 2 settlements. Again, it just means that Australia is even more isolated. We're viewing to Sweden, and I know that doesn't, like, look like the Scandinavian civs have the greatest start, but they always end up doing well. Like, Norway goes towards the west. Look, I mean, they already got this one. That's going to guarantee them to flood over that way. But also, Sweden can do the same thing out here in the east, especially with like a really weak Russia. The Swedes have found one of the world's 7 religions. They went after Confucianism. That's interesting. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping my eye on some of these faiths. I am so proud of the Netherlands. 3 cities. So it looks like they're not gonna die, at least within the first 10 turns. Maybe that will be France. Also bad news for Scotland. England got to Ireland first. I think Hungary's the first death of a civ. I don't believe anyone else has died just yet. But again, Germany just does so well. Both Greases aren't doing that well, but specifically this one, I can't imagine will survive. Although it is Sparta, and they don't really need that many units to do well, right? Maybe the scout is enough. They do have them at a little choke point here. Oh, well, that's awkward. That is not the settling I expected to see, but Rome has gone into Africa, and then what, Egypt got Malta, or something like that. Viewing as the Ottomans, it looks like they didn't get as lucky as they did last time. Sometimes they're able to get like a second eastern city out this way, but Georgia might have cut them off or something like that. Doesn't matter, because there's definitely a new great power in this region. They're just not gonna go down without a fight, will they? I can't see it happening. They're gonna last for a while. They now have the first city in the Caribbean. They still have their 2 ones down here, although, are they gonna lose that fast? No, I don't think so. Arabia has made it into Africa through the Horn of Africa, which might be a good idea because they need to get away as far as possible from these guys. I believe a lot of people are attacking China right now. Okay, definitely the Khmer, and I think even India. That's weird. Okay, China, you might want to build like a new Great Wall. 100 turns in, and here's a view of the map, by the way, just to get an overarching look at everything. I'll try to keep that in mind. I did notice Indonesia has a 4th city now. That's a little bit closer to Australia. Also, surprisingly, some of these places in the middle are kind of doing the best. I mean, this is not like an old world game. Everyone really has a chance because most places are trapped anyways. In terms of stats, it's way too early to figure out like who's doing the best, but some interesting things is Mali has the most population. Poland has the most land though. Now, I don't want to get everyone's hopes up. I feel like we've been disappointed by them for so long, but maybe this is their game. Genghis Khan of Mongolia. They're doing much better, and they're now attacking Korea. Not a bad idea because we saw China's dealing with a lot down here. They're working with that wall. I just don't know how useful that's gonna be. Maybe they're just preparing for climate change. I don't know. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So Indonesia's clearly here to stay, especially because I don't know if there's anyone that is gonna have that big of a navy, except for Australia. It's still really too early to tell, so who knows. Of course, the Zulu really don't see much outside of Africa. I mean, they're kind of focused on everything down here, but they are also at war with the Congo. It's a big deal. You kind of want to take them out early because they really start to snowball. They're also kind of friendly with Mali, so maybe at some point they'll get an alliance, get them to invade the Congo as well. That'd be a nice wombo combo. Of course, the Vikings have made it to Iceland first. They also have a little tile in Scotland. Scotland's gonna be dead soon, by the way. I could see the Norwegians maybe make it. I mean, there's some land in North America. They might go somewhere over here. Yeah, that whole destiny to go out and settle west has really kind of stalled for the US. Ever since they met the Aztecs, they're like, nah, we good. We ain't gonna do that no more. Oh, actually, there's a little invasion going on right here. I don't know really if the US has much to protect themselves. They definitely don't have a very big military. Where's all the hurricanes been? I was wondering about that. Okay, so here's our first one. America, you better watch out. Things are just not stop. Oh, what is What the hell is that? Okay, that was weird. My voice just gave out too. Scotland has died, and one of these times we're gonna see them do okay. I swear. We gotta give them more room up here somehow. They don't really have a lot of tiles to work with. But the good news is the Dutch, on the other hand, are kind of doing great. 4 cities now. They took another French city. Also, yeah, France is dead. They're not gonna survive. Egypt and the Romans are still somewhat kind of working together. You know, they're working around each other's borders for now. Cleopatra, just do your thing. Maybe she's doing her thing, keeping the Roman leader happy. And the Chinese are the next civ to kind of completely collapse. I think Korea started doing a lot of damage. They're gonna lose this one too. Kamai got a 3rd city. What's going on up here? Mongolia didn't do much in this war? Guess not. Oh, wow. Well, they do somehow have this city now in basically the Suez. They're gonna lose that, but kind of a miracle. They even found a way to get down here. Brazil's starting to gain a whole lot more power. It's starting to even out a little bit more with the Inca. I think the Inca have maybe been distracted. I'm surprised you guys are still in Panama. All right, Norway, you've made it to Greenland now. I think you'll definitely have a nice relationship with some of these North American civs. Canada might have to kill you, but at least they'll apologize for it. All right, so Arabia's about to die next too. They have 1 city left, and I think the Sumerians are attacking them too. Yeah, definitely a couple are. See, this is what I was saying. Gandhi was able to make it through the Himalayas somehow, and that has kept his civ alive. He even grabbed this Chinese civ, which China's dead. Oh man, that to me has got to be one of the biggest shockers. They potentially could have done the best here with the other 3, Mongolia and Korea, but seeing them fall so fast is really weird. I'm afraid at any moment the US is gonna kind of be next. I mean, they haven't lost any more cities, but with the Aztecs taking Florida, it ain't looking good. There you go, Greece. You're working with it. I don't know how many more people are really gonna be living here. It's gonna be like a city of 5 or something like that. Poland continues to have a lot of success. Even though Russia's not dead yet, they've kind of closed themselves off for the most part. And Scythia's not much of a threat either, which is a big deal. I mean, they're doing all right, but probably not enough. So Nubia is kind of in a weird situation. They really gotta hope that, I guess, the Zulu keep the Congo in check. That's pretty important. But they always have the possibility, and they usually do, they take out a lot of Egypt, because Egypt can't really protect their capital. I don't know what's gonna happen here, though, with such a successful Middle Eastern nation. That could throw some things off. So that is bad. The Aztecs are kind of going out of control. They might lose this city, but I don't know how they took this away from the Inca. They're just starting to dominate like all the West. I was curious to see if Spain was actually gonna make it to Africa. Mali is starting to really take away that opportunity. There's maybe one more chance. I don't know if they really care though. I think it's definitely safe to say that Korea is likely to be one of the stronger countries. I mean, we'll see if there's ever some like naval combat with Japan. I don't think really much is gonna come from that though. The Zulu are still doing all right, by the way. I mean, they're kind of fine now that they've discovered Madagascar. They're going after that. The Congo, they're doing their thing. I don't know. The French are now also officially dead, and I really want to make them my pick now because this is a good spot. They're cornered off. They don't really worry too much, and it's not like the Dutch are that powerful, but we'll see. Ouch! What happened here? Nubia. Okay, so there was probably a very violent war against the Congo, more than likely. It messed your stuff up. Georgia's surprisingly still around. They're just kind of barely holding on though. They got 1 city, and it's only a matter of time before. I'm thinking a lot of places like the Ottomans, the Greeks, and well, both Greeks. Who are you at war with? Romans? Oh, you guys might be dead. Indonesia. Man, I'm gonna need you guys to cool it. This is scary because look at India. Would India ever be able to survive some sort of huge naval invasion? I don't think so. There's really not that many units over this way. Not sure how much this has to do with anything, but Scythia is weirdly really friendly with a lot of the world. There's this huge alliance they have with Khmer, India, the Ottomans, Indonesia. I mean, people would definitely defend them. I'm starting to worry that's maybe causing them to not do much. Maybe they're getting a little bit lazy. They're at war with a lot though. Korea, Greece, Mali, the Aztecs, which is really scary, Brazil, and Egypt. Don't know how many of their friends are helping them there. While Montezuma of the Aztecs is out here kind of figuring out what the Pacific Ocean holds. They're probably meeting a whole lot of people, if not everyone. They're also trading with, I think, Australia. Okay, that's new. Which Australia, by the way, has now officially made it to New Zealand. I'm thinking a lot of people probably are doing some exploration themselves. Everyone's finding out what this world looks like. Oh, Sweden has a chance of maybe getting a new city. I guess Poland lost this due to some revolts. There's definitely gonna be a race to grab this one. Norway, by the way, incredibly grabbed something out here in the Mediterranean. That's interesting. I don't know how you're gonna really protect this thing, but good luck. And now it looks like both Japan and, well, the Aztecs have already made it to Hawaii, but the Japanese are probably the next, yeah, they're definitely going for that. Turn 200, and I'm starting to really worry about a couple places, or at least get an idea of who's gonna last for a while. The Aztecs are starting to go out of control, and they still have Cuba to go after if they really want to. With the Khmer grabbing so much stuff in the east, I don't know, Korea's still up in the air, especially because Genghis is gonna get a whole bunch of horses soon and probably invade. And Africa seems to be doing really well here too. It just depends on like who collapses. If someone like smack dab in the middle just has a terrible dark age and they lose a whole bunch of stuff, definitely some places could rise from here. I wasn't sure if this was actually happening, but I think I can confirm it now. Arabia, with their special ability, gets automatically the last prophet no matter what, but they're not using it. This world's gonna be stuck with just 6 of 7 religions because this AI is just not a believer, I guess. Or hold up, actually, maybe they just really love Hinduism that much. Even though they got this great prophet, they're like, hey bro, just chill. Don't start teaching any new stuff. Ah, so Norway made it to Cuba first, even though Norway's gonna lose this, I think, probably to the Aztecs. I'm viewing as Sweden once again, by the way. Since they kind of know everything out there, and they only have 2 cities, safe to say most of the world probably has some idea of where everything's at. We now have a few places taking over the ice caps. Brazil, England, and has anyone else made it to, okay, well there's still this large chunk of land. I would imagine Australia will get there. The Spartans are dead! The Spartans are dead! Oh man, Samaria is just, they're going nuts. And also the Romans took the other city. Weirdly, this is the only Greece left. Didn't expect that. Figured they'd be the first one to go. We also have this battle for Istanbul. I think the Romans might just want to rename it, maybe. They feel like they've got something better in mind. The islands of Hawaii are now under Aztec, mostly Aztec, and then Japanese rule. Maybe the Japanese could slow down Montezuma somehow. I don't think anyone here is gonna be able to do that. I mean, maybe the Cree, let's be honest, maybe the Cree. Canada likes to just stay up in the snow. I mean, that's accurate, so I can't really complain about that. Oh, okay, hold up, game. Why did Sparta just pop out infantry units? If you can't tell, a lot of places don't really have that yet. But what else did I expect from this place? The World Congress is now a thing, by the way, so there's gonna be a couple votes, and there's a lot of leaders left, so that's definitely gonna make it a little bit more interesting. Thank you so much, Montezuma. Thank you to the Aztecs. Even if you don't end up winning this game, I think they deserve a lot of credit because they finally built the Panama Canal. The AI hates to do this for some reason. They hate it, but not in this world. And that's actually gonna make a huge difference because right now Brazil completely controls that pass, the Cape Horn, something like that. So this makes things a little better. There you go, America. I mean, I don't know how you did this, but at least you're trying. Please tell me you have a large navy. No large navy here. So they're still stuck with 3 in North America. You're kind of screwed. Well, the Inca are also kind of venturing out. They have a city here. I don't know what that is, Fiji or something, but Australia and Indonesia could easily wipe you out at any moment. A lot of cities are changing hands here. I don't even know if it makes sense to point it out because who knows if they're actually gonna keep this stuff. Also, I guess Nubia likes that a lot of their land is useless. That's just, they're into that sort of thing. Egypt, you mind telling me how you did this? That's incredible. You probably settled this yourself, I think, right? Okay, and also the Inca, clearly something real bad's happening to them. They're going through their own dark age. Also keep this in mind. Yep, it is happening. Those dark tiles mean a lot of coastlines about to be eaten up by some rising sea levels. Oh, it's gonna be bad. Oh my god. None of the AIs are ready for this. None of them. I don't see any flood walls. Oh man. This is gonna be rough. Well, actually, hold on. I take that back for a second. It looks like only the Zulu have somewhat prepared for this. Maybe. Yeah, and the Congo, a bit with the Congo as well. The Panama Canal City is revolted, which is probably one of the most important revolts in the world right now. It might go to the Inca, but there's a couple other civs trying to go after it, Rome and England. That'd be useful. And now the entire state of Florida has just become an island. Yeah, the Aztecs might as well just throw away this city. I think this city's pretty much useless now. And we got a couple new members in Antarctica, Australia being one of them, as well as Canada, which is kind of a perfect fit. They might not keep that though. While in Europe, coastlines are just getting decimated. This is one of the worst continents to be. Obviously, you know, there are certain civs that aren't gonna have to worry about this, especially if you're in Asia, Africa, or like North America. Oh, okay, so Rome's making some oh, damn, I was getting excited for a second. They kind of lost one of the most important cities. Wait, no, no way. Is that supposed to happen? Is that normal? There was a canal here and that flooded. It's still a canal city, it's just, I guess, a little bit more natural now. You know what? It's looking like the Zulu or the Congo really didn't do much to protect their coastlines. Like, it's been pretty messed up too. I'm actually shocked at how bad this is. That's a good idea. I like this idea. Who's doing this? I think this is Rome or Mali, whatever. We got the Golden Gate Bridge. It looks like, I don't know if it's finished yet, connecting Africa to Europe. Definitely one of the more useful ones. Also, Samaria just kind of lost their lead. They are down to 3 cities. That is depressing. I'm sure it had to do with Scythia taking the Persian capital, and then they're definitely going through a dark age as well. I want to check on the Inca just because I figured whoever takes over South America is going to be pretty safe. I don't really think they have an advantage over Brazil just yet, though. Still kind of up in the air. They did lose a city, the Brazilians, so that's kind of a big deal. The Mapuche, who's basically just barely held on for about 250 turns with only their capital, they now got 3 cities. They're really changing things up. And Japan has somehow made it to California. Is that what's happening? They're also at war with the Aztecs, it looks like. They've got a nice little pirate fleet, just kind of messing with them. And Washington, D.C. has just become a coastal city, even more so than before. I mean, it's directly off their coastline. They still have this harbor that I don't know how anyone's really gonna get to. You gotta take a boat to get to the harbor first, and then you can take another boat. I guess it's not that crazy. And it shows that Canada has some amazing control over the Great Lakes. They got this little canal going, so I think they can reach all 5. It's not like it's that useful though. By turn 300, this is what the world looks like, and you can also get a better idea of exactly how many tiles were lost due to climate change. A lot of countries just lost a whole lot of power, specifically the island civs. So Indonesia, Japan, and I'd imagine England as well. They can't be too happy about this. The Zulu are actually leading in 3 categories, one of them being population, other in crop yield and GNP. Still, I mean, I might be wrong. Maybe this is their game. I do like how Australia has the #1 military though. It's starting to feel like the world's just about to explode. There's a lot of places with a whole lot of modern units, and yeah, I'm thinking we're about to see a world war pretty soon. I mean, I can really just barely see any land at this point. Still no giant death robots yet. That's where things are gonna get insane, but there's definitely got to be a few nukes laying around. Oh, wait, no. There are some giant robots of death, and of course it's Japan to build it first. They are likely to take out this India. Yeah, they don't have a chance. America's dead, by the way, or basically. Philadelphia still stands just barely, but somehow England got Boston. That's one of the more incredible things, and then Washington was taken by Canada. This is really not much of a surprise. I think we all expected this because, I mean, they were just chilling with like 4 to 3 cities for couple hundred turns. I didn't think they were gonna last. The Inca have once again taken control of the canal, which is important because the Aztecs really don't need any more power. Although at the same time, they've really fallen off. I thought they were for sure just gonna take over everything, but they haven't really done much. You know, it's really hard to tell on this map because the Congo and the Zulu are really similar colors, but yeah, no, I was totally wrong about this. I kept hyping up the Congo. They have 4 settlements. That's it. Shaka took a lot of stuff from them. And I feel like Nubia might have also had some impact because this city is just on fire. It's just straight up on fire, so maybe. Oh, Egypt died too. Wow, I almost missed that one. Okay, so as expected, I actually thought Nubia was gonna take it over, but no, it was just the Romans. It is kind of a miracle that Arabia is still around. Again, they only have this one city and just chilling with that great prophet. Thousands of years have gone by and they're just like, no dude, don't do it. We gotta stay Hindu. Mongolians have taken significant hits and they're probably the next ones to fall, especially because Korea continues to gain strength in the east and then Scythia does the same thing in the west. Russia's still alive, so that's impressive. And Poland, they're still going. I mean, they're not super impressive, but they're still around. Wait a second, okay, did Egypt just get revived? I think they might have, or maybe I just missed these 2 cities. But I do know that there are a couple dead civs that get brought back from the dead at certain points in this campaign. And this also looks like it's about to be the end of Samaria. They are being surrounded by these giant robots, and they don't really have much to protect themselves. That's sad. I wanted them to do well, but maybe next time. And I think Brazil might just get a city behind enemy lines. I'd imagine their biggest rival is the Inca, but if they could take this, that'd be a good point to jump off from, especially if there's a nice big old war. Japan has taken another city, but they lost their other one here, kind of northern in California. There's definitely pretty big rivalry. Oh, and I think, is England over here trying to attack him too? No wonder Montezuma's having trouble. Gandhi's being pushed back down towards southern Asia. A lot of the other like Asian powers have taken their northern cities, and it's kind of interesting. Did I notice this before? Indonesia taking the other India? They're good. And the Aztecs have fallen. Yeah, they're not coming back from this. They lost their capital, and I mean, they got a pretty good empire still. They could maybe take out weaker neighbors, but I think they're done. Russia also just finally died, which, I mean, they were hiding up here in the North Pole for a while, and that didn't last. That also gives Poland a little bit of strength, which they kind of needed. Oh, yeah, I think Germany might be doing their thing. Whoa! Okay, surprised I didn't see this much earlier. Japan's gone. They're done. And I thought they were doing pretty well. They were attacking places around the world. No, they've been divided almost perfectly. I mean, not perfectly down the middle, but almost. The Kree and Korea just got really strong. Oh my god. I didn't think that Golden Gate Bridge actually got built. I thought they were trying to build it, but thank you, Korea. Yes, this is much more useful. Connecting Europe to Africa, nah, that's overrated. That is actually pretty funny though, because I was really gonna give the AI a lot of credit. Like, that is a monumental achievement for the people of this world. No, it's not really their fault though. It's just kind of how the game is. I mean, hey, you know, they basically built the Panama Canal, then it got flooded, and this is maybe even more useful, so I can't really complain. Oh, Japan does still exist. Okay, hold on. I'm taking them things a little crazy. They still are in Hawaii. I mean, I don't really know if that's gonna make their situation any better. They'll still get taken over. So it's only been 1,000 turns, and clearly we still have a long way to go. I only see like the front runners as like the Kree and Korea, but even then, I mean, I don't even know. At least just about everyone was contributing to climate change though. It's not like there was just one person, although some time's gone by, so that they might have changed. And real quick, because religion is far from having much of an impact anymore, but yeah, most of I guess Africa and Europe is Protestant, and then Hinduism, wow, Hinduism is kind of crazy in Asia, and then we have Zoroastrianism in all of the New World, kind of, yeah, so pretty much 3 dominant faiths. So Rome just died. It's not like they were taken over by a lot of people. They just collapsed in on itself, revolted, you know, the typical Rome stuff. Must have been something in the water. But it's kind of crazy to see the Ottomans, you know, kind of doing all right. I mean, they were left with just one city for a while there, and I thought that one city was gonna get taken, but nope, how things can change. Sweden's finally dead, by the way. Poland, again, is holding on. They're trying to keep their strength as like a great power. It's not looking good though, as Scythia continues to just take more and more things over. Oh wow, and India's dead too. So both Indias have been killed, again, by Scythia and Korea. There's also a revolt going on. Oh, actually, no, he's still around. Gandhi, barely though. But we gotta start watching the Zulu though. I mean, they've got a huge control over Africa, and I don't see who could really take this stuff over. They don't really have any more threats. America's kind of been integrated into Canada. They have most of those former US cities, except for Charleston, but I don't know. I mean, I guess so far they're peaceful with the Kree. Let's see how long that lasts. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Korea also took over all of Iberia. So, yeah, almost. Okay, England got something. A little something. Not that, like, that's much, though. Oh, the Aztecs are basically dead. They are left with 3, maybe 4 cities. That 4th one's probably gonna go. Someone's gonna take them out. They had a good run. You know, looking at it again, I feel like Mali might be able to stand up to the Zulu. They're the best hope, I guess, at least in Africa. Nubia's not doing that bad either. Or maybe if they combine strength, that would help. Wow. Did not expect that one. England like that is gone. Norway, of all places. How did they do that? They've been like at 4 or 5 cities for the whole time. I guess you can just never underestimate the Vikings and going after the British Isles. A lot of time just went by, and I don't know where to start. There's a lot of things to talk about. Oh my god, what happened? Let's just start with the big Orange Empire first, because they were kind of the most noticeable, at least for me. I mean, they're not even 50% sea, 50% wheat anymore. They're just 50% of all of Europe. I guess it's really just because the Ottomans and Germany fell apart, and they controlled almost all of Central Europe, at least beforehand. I guess it's not that shocking when, like, there's less people that control more area. Stuff like this is gonna happen. Scythia is also dead, which, again, Korea must have contributed to, at least somewhat, and Poland got to really reap the benefits as well. They're still holding on. I'm excited for them. Come on, guys. I love how they're just barely sticking around. The Khmer have been basically pushed back all the way down south, and it looks like they're gonna die at any second. Is it Indonesia? Are they doing something? Yeah, I think they have something to do with this. Oh man, but Australia also is starting to collapse. Actually, this is one of the most surprising to me because we've never seen that happen, have we? I don't think so. So I don't know how Nubia got down here, and then as expected, I figured Indonesia would be a part of this. All right, next up, Leafland has taken out the Kree, and now they control almost all of North America. That is by far the biggest twist. I mean, weren't they like #1 in all the categories not that long ago? Australia also has a very nice chunk over Central America, which, I mean, I don't think I even mentioned that the Yucatan Peninsula is kind of like an island now, its own island in the Caribbean. Speaking of that, Norway was the one to take out the Aztecs, and they have all their former cities. Nubia also, with just the devastating blow to Mali. I don't know how they just went straight in. Did they grab their capital too? I think they did. They're still around, and they have a city in Iberia somehow. But yeah, no, clearly something really bad happened to the Zulu. Some sort of terrible dark age, because I thought they were going to be all right. They lost northern cities, and then for some reason Brazil has everything in South Africa. Korea is clearly still #1, but now we have a couple new players that have just kind of entered the chat, I guess. Oh, and I think I just figured out Canada's secret weapon. They have an army of builders. Thousands, maybe millions. They're also just using them as scouts, sending them out in the edges of their territory, I don't know, just to intimidate some of their rivals. I mean, I guess it's not a terrible idea. You know, you want to just throw your civilians out and hope that the other enemy doesn't want to commit war crimes. They even have a city in the Japanese islands, which I'm wondering, are the workers able to stop giant death robots? Is that their kryptonite? Brazil now officially should be on everyone's radar. They did take over all of South America, and they still have a huge portion of South Africa. Also, territories have kind of revolted from Nubia. The Dutch continue to dominate as they've kind of cleaned up the borders and have even started to reach into Africa. So yeah, with the fall of Mali, this makes sense that they would just take some stuff down this way. Now I'm hoping that Poland can do what they do best, and that is stop massive Asian empires from reaching any further into Europe, because that's basically Korea right now. Korea is, well, I mean, they are struggling quite a bit, but I was gonna say they're kind of like the Mongolians of this world. Yeah, but I don't really know what the hell happened. This is weird. They're losing stuff for sure, and it's not straight up through a war. They must be having some loyalty issues. And Canada also took control over almost all of Japan. It's really close. Yeah, this city's definitely gone. Korea also might lose their capital. It is not looking good. It's happening right now. Who is about to take this? It looks like it's gonna be Canada. They're just sick of being peaceful. I'm glad the Indonesians are starting to do some stuff. They definitely had an impact on taking out the Khmer, because they're the next like dead civ, although there's been a lot of those. And Australia, yeah, Australia barely exists. Just barely. We're actually down to the final 10. There are only 10 leaders left, at least for now. I mean, there might be a couple places that get revived, but these are the only ones that have a chance. Borders are slowly being cleaned, and that's gotta be like one of my favorite parts about going until one country's left. The border gore is no more. Unfortunately though, Poland just died, and that is a little depressing. But at the same time, at least the Dutch are finally getting their time in the spotlight. They've officially taken over all of Europe, almost all of Europe. I mean, Nubia is Sparta, but that's about it. And that's kind of crazy because we've never seen them do well. In almost every single video, it's like they slap their capital down, and then only a couple turns later, either France or Germany takes them over. Not here. At least they took over their own continent. The fall of Korea has been cemented though, as Indonesia and Canada have taken some settlements. I don't know really how this happened. Again, it must have been just a huge civil war. I'm guessing lots of revolts, and maybe Canada has like a strong cultural pool. I don't know. Australia's doing a little bit better, but it might be a little too late. Not with, yeah, this invading force. I'm assuming they probably have a giant navy just to let them take over all this stuff. As for Africa, I don't think any great power is going to come from here because, well, Mali's somewhat made a comeback, which is impressive, and Nubia, no, there's no way. They've clearly lost some stuff to the Dutch, and the Brazilians don't count. They'll probably continue to head up north. I guess this is kind of a good time to give everyone here some credit because, I mean, you kind of have the continental winners. Korea won Asia, even though they're struggling. I don't know, Indonesia won, like, I don't know, Oceania or something. Then we got Brazil, Canada, and the Dutch winning their respective continents as well. Africa, I mean, I don't even know. It should have been the Zulu, but they died, so it's either Mali or Nubia, probably Nubia. And just like that, we're down to the final 2. Or kind of. I mean, technically there's 3, but it's Canada and the Netherlands. 2 of the least likely civs, to be honest. I would have never guessed them. Surprisingly, Korea still somehow stuck around, and I mean, they got a pretty strong hold. They'll be safe. I think the Himalayas have really protected them for a while. Brazil clearly fell apart at the very end, and that makes sense because the core of their empire, they didn't have that much land. At least, you know, compared to Canada, this was where all their strength came from. Brazil was split up between South America and Africa. I could see why that happened. But the big thing here is all the revolts going on. Like, I guess most of Earth's citizens are not happy with these nations. You would think it'd be great, but I guess not. Why am I not surprised to find only fallout in Japan? As far as I know, this is one of the only places that got nuked. Well, okay then. Interestingly, the Dutch were able to make it to Australia too, somehow, and actually, the Dutch are the only ones that really have any control if you think about it. Well, I mean, there's this one Canadian city, but that's about it. This is probably gonna be the final look at religion before the very end, and clearly Protestantism has fallen off. And I wonder if Brazil had an impact on that, because this is kind of what they controlled. Hindu does a lot, but I think also there's a lot of cities that aren't following anything. But it's still very mixed. It is still really divided in terms of faith. Canada's clearly hardcore into that Zoroastrianism stuff. They're probably gonna spread that around. Oh, and technically, I believe they're in the most cities too. 63 compared to Protestantism with 53 and Hindu at 46. Obviously, world climate's not gonna change much, but 85% of the polar ice caps have been lost. That's not too bad. I mean, I figured it'd be 100, and I guess sea level only rose 3.5 meters. It seemed much more devastating than that. You know, actually, this doesn't seem like the greatest place to live. I mean, if you're in certain cities, maybe, but a lot of areas have just been completely destroyed. Like, I'm looking around, some things aren't even being used. Iberia is just a mess. Stay away from here. The British Isles don't look that great either. I mean, specifically Ireland, they got some things on fire, even more so in Iceland. Wow, look, the stadium's on fire. Guess it's getting real lit there. But yeah, the AI doesn't seem to want to fix a whole lot of stuff. I mean, they are in a massive war for their lives, so who would want to really take on fixing a national park or something like that? And Canada has done it. Canada has won from North America, grabbing parts of Eastern Asia, and I guess they defeated the Dutch. Kind of weird that there's still so many cities trying to revolt. I don't really know what that's saying about their empire. I mean, even in their home continent, people are trying to resist, and I don't really know why they haven't gotten this back. I don't know. AI doesn't seem to prioritize some of this stuff sometimes. South America as well. I mean, I guess these people are just not down to play hockey. These places that are kind of moving away or trying to get out of the empire are pretty hot. You know, how can they play that? I don't know why Canada's not seeing their own empire. I guess the game isn't really meant to be played with only one nation. But yeah, they have all these categories. Not bad. And it is the year 4023. I imagine actually a lot of people might not have just died. A lot of them could have just escaped into the solar system. So I guess there's a chance that, you know, the Dutch still remain. They're somewhere out there. Again, I can't think of a more surprising victory here. I mean, just the final three, but especially Canada. Of all Canada, I mean, the AI usually doesn't do anything. I guess they were just sick of all the bullying. Let me know if you'd like to see me do another one of these. I really never thought this would be possible, and part of the reason why I was able to do it is because it's such a small map. I wouldn't have been able to do it on like the giant Earth, and it also helped that, like I said, I don't have a life anymore. This is really all I do. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Big thanks to Elphie C, Elijah Senpai, Ruserification, SwissAargau, Maxy G, King Solomon, Ben Moke, Gali, TannerOfNazareth, FurryCruz, MisterPERKELE, CooterDonkey, Brandon Hinkle, DestinyFU 9000, MegaFatBoi, a sneaky Gengar, Battle Buddy 1847, and Alfonso M6. Thank you.